Dickie and Jean Clary. I was afraid I was going to get that wrong, but Dickie's one of our deacons, and some of you that were here at the ordination remember that they had mentioned the love and respect and what an impact it had on their life and in their marriage. And so because of that, we researched it, attended one, and we're bringing one here to Saba in February. But Dickie and Jean are going to share their testimony with you, so if you would.
Hi, I'm Jean. Dickie and I attended our first Love and Respect. I say first because we've been to more than one. But anyway, we attended in Austin because our counselor, our marriage counselor at the time, said that it would be a good thing for us to do. We were in marital crisis. In 1 Corinthians 7:28, Paul tells us that we'll have trouble in our marriage. And so it's not really if you have trouble in your marriage, it's more of a when you will have trouble in your marriage. This conference was instrumental in healing our marriage and then strengthening it. It gave us a lot of tools that we could use. Sometimes you just look at your spouse and you think, they're the enemy, but they're not the enemy. The Bible tells us who the enemy is, and they're not our spouse. They're not flesh and blood. And it just gives you a whole new way of looking at the things that you're going through, the things that everybody goes through, all marriages. I'd also like to say that this is not just for married couples. If you're a parent of a married couple or a parent of a teenager, or you're a teenager who may get married one of these days, if you're a grandparent, your grandchildren are going to be going through problems and you may be able to influence theirs. If you're a friend of anyone who is married or would potentially be married at some point in their life, I would highly encourage you to go through this. But I'd also say that you should expect some resistance, because anytime that you're going to do something that might benefit the kingdom of God, and this is a kingdom thing. Families are one of God's primary institutions. He feels like they're very important. And so anytime that you're going to do something that would benefit God's kingdom, then you should expect some resistance. I know at our first conference that we went to in Austin, I got these neck spasms, and so I attended the whole Saturday conference with my neck held over like this, and it was like very painful. Anyway, expect resistance. Expect ball games to come up in the same time period or something. But and try your best to attend. I highly recommend it and encourage you to attend.
All right. Yeah, and I'm Dickie. Jean's pretty much covered everything, the importance of why this conference is important. But I do want to reiterate that this conference has something for every adult in this room today, and those within your circle of influence. It is that powerful. I can say that as a man, and that's not easy sometimes for men to say. So today I'm kind of challenging the men here in the room today to use this as an opportunity to show your family, to show your wife, to try to influence future generations, if not to improve your own life, by signing up for the conference. Might even invite your wife to come to it. What better way to truly show that you care about the most important relationship in your life than to invite your spouse to come to something like this. So the focal passage for this entire conference is based upon the truth that's found in Ephesians 5:33. Paul summarizes in 5:33 what he said in the previous few verses as he instructed Christians on how to live a spirit-led life in relation with how husband and wives should live together. And he gives a whole long list of things that we need to do for one another to help our marriage to be a godly marriage. And in verse 33, he summarizes that entire passage, and that passage that Ephesians 5:33 says, husbands must love their wives, and wives must respect their husbands. So these are not suggestions. These are, I believe, they're commands from the Lord and Paul helped show us in this the importance of it. And then Dr. Eggerichs, the person that you'll see on this video conference that leads the sessions, really unpacks a lot of details that just, once he explains them, it's like, how come we didn't see those before? They're truths that are hidden in plain sight. And ultimately, this conference, as serious as it might seem, you'll be entertained. You'll see, I think, in some of the video segments that we have leading up to this, that he's a very knowledgeable person, but he also knows how to present in a way that you don't find yourself nodding off, going to sleep, that sort of thing. So, come a personal testimony, it did save our marriage, and I can tell you that as a personal testimony, it's one of the things that helped save our marriage. And so that's the reason it's important for us to share this conference with people. And I'm appreciative of church leadership, the pastor, and Alvino, and who have know how marriage is under attack in our society. And when the family unit is gone in our society, so is our society in our country. So it's an important subject. But I want to tell you real briefly, and then I'm done, about what this conference, what you'll experience if you come to the conference. Like, it's 100% video based, which means that all you have to do to be a successful participant is to come and watch videos, and you won't be put on the spot. A lot of times, men particularly have a hard time coming into a setting where you don't really know what to expect. You don't really know what kind of questions you might be asked or what kind of situation you might be put in. That won't happen. So it's 100% video based. There's no questions. There's no finger pointing. You won't be made to feel guilty. Just come and let God speak to you through the messages in those videos. Conference times are going to be Friday evening and Saturday morning with a noon meal and finishing up before 2 o'clock. And like Gene said, the biggest problem that I think most people will have, a lot of people will have, is making the time to come, because there's already, I've been on the local website of schools and activities. There's a lot going on Friday night. We all know that. A lot of people take Saturday mornings as just a time to go and relax and whatnot. I want to encourage you, men, particularly the men, I want to challenge the men today to do whatever it takes. Ask off, change your schedule, do whatever that you need to do to be here. Bring your wife, bring your family, bring your